Have you ever pondered why were there so few female pharaohs in the history of ancient Egypt? The annals of ancient Egypt are lined with the tales of mighty pharaohs, men who were considered nothing short of gods on earth. However, amid the vast swathes of male rulers, there exists a glaring rarity, the phenomenon of the female pharaoh. Now, you might wonder, why is this so? It's a question that has puzzled historians for centuries, but the answer lies deep within the societal norms and customs of ancient Egypt, a civilization that, like many others, was largely patriarchal. Yet in this male-dominated world, there were a handful of women who defied the odds, stepping beyond the prescribed boundaries of their gender to rule as pharaohs. Among these women, there is one who stands out, a beacon of feminine power and resilience, Hatshepsut. Hatshepsut, whose name means foremost of noble ladies, wasn't just a remarkable exception to the rule, she was an anomaly. Born into a royal family, she ascended to the throne not as a queen, but as a pharaoh, a title and position traditionally reserved for men. She was not just a woman who wore the double crown of Egypt. She was a woman who ruled, who made decisions, who led armies, and who was respected and revered just as any of her male counterparts. Her reign, which lasted for about 20 years, was marked by peace, prosperity, and architectural advancements, leaving an indelible mark on the face of Egypt. Yet, despite her achievements, her story is often overlooked, lost in the shadows of the male pharaohs who came before and after her. The story of Hatshepsut is a testament to the power of ambition, resilience, and cunning, qualities that allowed her to rise above the constraints of her time and etch her name in the annals of history. It's a story that challenges our understanding of gender roles in ancient civilizations and forces us to rethink our perceptions of power and leadership. Let's delve into the life of this extraordinary woman, Hatshepsut. Born into royalty, Hatshepsut's journey to the throne began long before she wore the crown. Born around 1507 BC, Hatshepsut was the eldest daughter of Thutmose I and his great royal wife, Ahmose. The royal lineage she was born into was storied and powerful, tracing back to the very founders of the 18th dynasty of Egypt. Her father, Thutmose I, was a pharaoh known for his military exploits and vast territorial expansions. The blood of leaders and conquerors coursed through Hatshepsut's veins. Growing up in the royal court, Hatshepsut was exposed to the intricate dynamics of power and politics from a very young age. Her father's rule was marked by a series of military campaigns, and the court was a buzzing hive of diplomatic activity. As a princess, Hatshepsut would have had access to the best education available in Egypt at the time. She would have been taught to read and write hieroglyphs and schooled in religious rites, history, and the art of governance. It wasn't long before Hatshepsut was thrust into the political limelight. At the tender age of 12, following the death of her two older brothers, Hatshepsut was married to her half-brother, Thutmose II. This was a common practice in royal families of the time, designed to preserve the royal bloodline and consolidate power. Thutmose II was the son of Thutmose I and a secondary wife, and his marriage to Hatshepsut solidified his claim to the throne. Thutmose II ascended to the throne after the death of their father, and Hatshepsut became his queen. She was now more than just a princess. She was the great royal wife, a title that carried significant religious and political influence, and while Hatshepsut was no stranger to power, her role as queen would prove to be just a stepping stone on her path to greatness. But it was her marriage to her half-brother Thutmose II that set the stage for her unprecedented rise to power. Upon the death of Thutmose II, Hatshepsut did something no woman had done before. The sudden demise of Thutmose II left the throne of Egypt to his infant son, Thutmose III, a child far too young to rule a kingdom as vast and as powerful as Egypt. Hatshepsut, Thutmose II's regent and wife, stepped into the power vacuum. Initially, she ruled as regent on behalf of her stepson, a role traditionally filled by a female in the absence of a male pharaoh, but Hatshepsut was not content with being a mere placeholder. She saw an opportunity to seize power, to break through the glass ceiling of pharaonic patriarchy. She made a decision that would not only shape her life, but also the entire course of Egyptian history. She decided to assume full power as pharaoh, an audacious move that defied tradition and norms. Hatshepsut was not just satisfied with being pharaoh in name, she wanted to be pharaoh in deeds and actions. She adopted the full regalia of a pharaoh, including the false beard, a symbol of pharaonic power. She had herself depicted in the masculine form in statues and reliefs, reinforcing her authority and legitimacy. She even took on a new name, Matkara, which means truth is the soul of the sun god. Her ascension to power was not without controversy. Some courtiers and nobles were uneasy with a woman wielding such immense power, but Hatshepsut proved them wrong. She ruled with wisdom and tenacity, maintaining peace in her kingdom, promoting trade and initiating ambitious building projects. She was a woman of exceptional will, a woman who dared to defy the norms of her time. She was a woman who proved that power is not the domain of men alone. She was a woman who showed that a pharaoh, even a female one, could rule with wisdom and strength. And so Hatshepsut became pharaoh not just in name, but in deeds and actions. She left an indelible mark on the sands of time, a mark that still echoes through the corridors of history. Hatshepsut, the female pharaoh, was a true pioneer, a trailblazer who dared to redefine the boundaries of power and gender in ancient Egypt. Hatshepsut's reign was marked by peace, prosperity, and impressive architectural feats. During her time as pharaoh, Hatshepsut steered Egypt towards a period of peace and economic growth. She prioritized diplomatic relations and trade over military conquests, a move that was both innovative and fruitful. One of the most noteworthy achievements of Hatshepsut's reign was the successful trade expedition to the land of Punt, modern-day Somalia. This expedition brought back a wealth of exotic goods and resources such as precious myrrh trees, gold, and ebony, and it significantly boosted Egypt's economy. Hatshepsut's reign was not just about commerce, she was also a prolific builder, leaving behind a legacy of monumental structures that still captivate us today. The most iconic of these is the mortuary temple of Hatshepsut, nestled in the cliffs at Deir el-Bahari. This architectural marvel, with its clean lines, harmonious proportions, and grand colonnades, showcased a level of sophistication and elegance that was unprecedented in its time. Hatshepsut also commissioned hundreds of other construction projects throughout Egypt, contributing to the country's architectural renaissance. But Hatshepsut's reign wasn't just about economic prosperity and architectural innovation. She faced the unique challenge of legitimizing her rule in a male-dominated society, and she did so with remarkable savvy. She cleverly used imagery and propaganda to assert her divine right to rule. She often depicted herself in traditional male pharaonic attire and even with a false beard, a symbol of pharaonic power. She commissioned statues and reliefs portraying her as the child of the god Amun, emphasizing her divine birth and right to the throne. In conclusion, Hatshepsut's reign was an era of prosperity, architectural innovation, and diplomatic success. She navigated the complexities of ruling in a male-dominated society with astute political acumen, leveraging religious iconography and propaganda to solidify her power. Despite the challenges she faced, Hatshepsut proved that a woman could rule Egypt as effectively as any man. Despite her successful reign, the end of Hatshepsut's story is shrouded in mystery. A cloak of uncertainty lingers over the circumstances of her death and the subsequent erasure of her legacy. Hatshepsut, a woman of power and influence, disappears from the historical records almost as if she had never existed. Theories about Hatshepsut's demise are as plentiful as they are diverse. One hypothesis suggests she may have died of natural causes, perhaps succumbing to a disease or ailment common in those times. However, there's another more sinister theory that she was possibly murdered in a palace coup, a tragic end to her rule. The absence of concrete evidence leaves these theories as mere conjectures, adding layers to the enigma that is Hatshepsut's end. Following her death, there was a deliberate attempt to erase Hatshepsut's legacy. Her monuments were defaced, her statues destroyed, and her name obliterated from the king lists. This systematic erasure, believed to have been orchestrated by her stepson and successor Thutmose III, only deepens the mystery. Each chisel mark on her statues, each scrape of her name, was a blow aimed not just to forget, but to rewrite history. Fast forward to the 20th century, archaeologists discovered a mummy in the Valley of the Kings, identified through dental records as Hatshepsut's. This discovery ignited a renewed interest in her life and reign. It offered a glimpse into her persona and provided a tangible link to a life that had been erased from memory. The discovery of her mummy had profound implications on our understanding of her life. It humanized the woman behind the pharaoh's crown, reminding us that she was a flesh and blood person, not just a figure from history. It also underscored the lengths to which power struggles can go, shedding light on the political dynamics of the time. While her reign may have been forgotten for millennia, Hatshepsut's legacy as a woman who dared to rule as pharaoh endures. Despite attempts to erase her, she remains a significant figure in history, a testament to her strength and resilience, and a symbol of female empowerment. Hatshepsut's story, though shrouded in mystery, continues to inspire and intrigue us, even today.